Welcome to the Dementia Caregiver Talk Show, a podcast to help you navigate the senior care maze. Learn and laugh with us as we discuss creative solutions and ideas to common and uncommon dementia care challenges, and how to make sense of the senior care industry and options, even if you're not a professional. Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. My name is Valerie and I'm here with Tifa Snow and Joanne Westbrook. Hey everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Val.
So I'm coming to you for today from Florida. And Tifa, you are?
I am on the east coast of Florida today and for a few more days, and then I'm back up to North Carolina and off to other parts not so warm and wonderful.
And Joanne, you're in Florida too.
So I am. I'm on the West Coast, like you.
We got the Florida crew today.
Yep.
So we have, as usual, a very interesting topic, and it's 5 positive action starters to get people engaged.
Yeah. So one of the things people talk about is, well, he just sits there. I don't know how to get him going. When I ask him, it's just really hard sometimes. And the difficulty comes from the part of the brain known as the initiation center. So getting your body to get going and getting your brain energized enough that it tells your body to get going, and then letting your body know what's the first thing you're going to do. So it gets a little tricky. So I think everybody, I'll ask Joanne. Joanne, have you ever had a moment where you're sitting at your desk and you're thinking, oh yeah, I should go get my mail. And you think, yeah, that's what I should do. And you go, let me open one more email here. And so what ends up happening is you get distracted by other things, or it's just so much effort to process through and go somewhere or do something that it's easier to just stay where you are. And it's called inertia.
Oh, yeah.
So some people are inert and disengaged, but some people aren't. They actually are still, and they're not looking like they're doing anything, but they're actually engaged in something. And the something they're engaged with, we may be able to see or we may not be able to see. So, Valerie, have you ever had a moment where you're sort of like daydreaming or thinking of something and you look like you're out of it, but you're actually thinking?
Yes. Very much so, yes.
So the tricky part is if I'm standing outside, it's like, what's the difference between that and you're not doing anything? It's hard to tell sometimes. Mm-hmm. So one of the things to think about if you want to engage somebody is to give them a real clear signal without startling them or making them distressed or angry, upset, that I'm here and I'm curious as to whether or not, number one, you're doing anything. And number two, even if you are doing something, are you willing to stop doing what you're doing in order to come and do what I have in my mind or what I have planned or what I think might be? Because actually, I don't know if you know this, but you've been there for hours. You actually aren't doing anything and you think you're really busy, but frankly, you're not doing what you think you're doing, which is often the case sometimes when somebody has dementia. They're not as engaged as they think they are. So one of the things to think about doing is not, which seems sort of silly in some ways, but I will tell you that it's an incredibly powerful tool. If you knock on a edge of a door, on a desk, on a surface, and then you say the word knock, it actually triggers a part of your brain very familiar with somebody wants to come in, somebody wants to enter, somebody wants to engage me in some way. And you want to make sure it's not too close or too loud, but knock can be a real ear opener, eye opener, pauser. So it sort of puts a pause button on what you're doing. So if you've sort of got drifted off and I go, oh, not the other, oh, what was my other one I just did? Oh.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say the is kind of like an element of surprise. It would draw my attention. I think I would turn my head and look.
Yeah. Oh, so it's not,
Yeah.
Now that has a real different feel to it. So the other thing is that we can use vocalizations. So sometimes we can just vocalize, but we want to make sure the vocal that we give is sort of a excited, interested vocal. So the second thing we might do is, ooh, pause. And what we're then looking for is, does the person turn their head, make eye contact? Is there some indicator that I now click, have engaged them?
Mm-hmm.
So our first one was knock, knock,
Knock, knock, yeah.
asking for entry. The second one was, ooh,
Ooh.
as sort of an exclamation. The third one is Joanne or Joanne.
Oh, visual, right? Visual.
So, but actually, can you see me right now, Joanne?
No.
So if I said, Joanne.
Oh, I turned around.
You would turn and look. What if I went, Joanne?
Oh, yes.
You would really turn around there.
I would.
So number 3 is just someone's name said in a clear, firm, positive voice, but Joanne with a question mark. So now that one felt a little different, huh?
Yeah, that was a little concerning.
Oh dear. Okay. So Joanne.
Yeah.
So when I put the question mark, we want to make sure it's a question mark that sounds friendly, not like you're in trouble, like Joanne.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Which is the second sentence usually right after that, which means you were doing something I didn't want you doing, or why aren't you doing what I want you to do?
Right.
It's that positive affirmation. The second one I went, oh, Joanne.
Ooh, what's going on?
Yeah, that fourth thing that I did was an indrawn breath. So it turns out when a human being goes, oh, it catches our ear. And then when I go, name, Valerie. Yeah. Your brain is already going, yeah? Did you want me? What is it? Is it something good? Because when human beings go, oh, Valerie.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It does. It has a level of excitement. So that's the kind of thing I might want to use when my goal is to actually get you up and going, because that's a little more than just, I want your attention. It's, oh, Valerie.
Yes. I'm responding every time.
I know, every time, even though it's like, Teepa, do you want something or not? That is a rule. You have to be careful. You don't want to overuse this stuff. But the good thing about dementia is frequently people, once you've done it and you go away and you go do something else, when you come back to do it again, they don't view it as a bad habit. It again becomes a way to bring their brain to attention in a friendly kind of way. So our fifth one is a little bit different. What I might want to do there is not so much auditory. What I might want to do is actually walk past or walk around where the person is and start doing things around the space. So, wow, now what in the world? Oh, son of a gun. Oh, look at that. Wow, now that's something. And so it's called parallel play, in that I don't attempt to engage you initially at all, but I'm sort of keeping up a running dialogue of a monologue rather, of what I'm doing. So I might pick things up and go, oh, well, now I wonder if this belongs here or not. And the whole time, although I'm not looking directly at you, I'm sort of got out of the corner of my eye. I go, now, does this spoon go here or should I take it to the kitchen? I wonder. And if you start noticing me at all, what I'll do is turn around and say, Joanne, hey. And then I have in my hand the spoon and I go, now, were you using this or should I take this to the kitchen, do you think?
I think you should take it back to the kitchen.
Oh, okay. So listen, I was making something in there and I would love for you to taste it. Would you mind? Could you give it a taste?
I'll try it for you.
Okay, so now why did I want to have the spoon in my hand?
it's a visual cue, right?
Oh, so we're going to go to the kitchen to taste something. I'm going to take this one back. But in fact, I'm using it also as an additional cue of eating or tasting, because even if you don't get all my words, you might get one or two, and with a spoon in my hand, and then I might give a come along signal visually. So those are the 5 ways you can actually take somebody who's not paying attention to you and start to engage them.
Nice. Very nice, Deepa. So I'm curious. Let's see if I got them, if I can recall them, so to summarize them. So the first one was knock, knock, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's going to get someone's attention. I mean, frankly, when you said knock, knock, the first time I was about to respond.
What's the answer when I say knock, knock?
Who's there?
Yeah, exactly. And it's because it's so old. Now, what people don't think about is there are all those knock knock jokes from 5th grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and they're hardwired as a rhythm in our brain. And so what I'm actually working with is an old procedural rhythm, which is a knock knock, who's there kind of rhythm. But it's also every time you've ever answered a door, somebody's at the door and they go, you get up to go answer the door. So it's just sort of a nice way to start an interaction and sort of an engagement, you might say.
Nice.
That's number 1.
Then number 2 is it's the right? But sort of. And
it was a little different because you drew your breath in on that one. It's like,
Yeah, just
like a noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we often do draw our breath in, and it's okay. It's not like you can't combine them, but it's like the second one. Well, what's our third one?
Calling the person by their name.
Yeah, auditory. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joanne with a
question mark.
It has to be with a question mark as opposed to Joanne. Or Joanne.
Oh.
Trouble.
So that, ooh. So rather than the indrawn breath, it's more of a ooh or ah.
Ooh.
So it's a sound, it's a vocalization. You can certainly do it with an indrawn breath. It's not that you can't, but the indrawn breath is just when you draw your breath and you make sound instead of just breathing in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And actually, that is number 4 was like
that's right.
The level of excitement, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then 5 was to walk near the person and start doing things while talking to yourself about it.
Yeah. But being careful not to touch their stuff. So you don't want to get within arm's reach. You want to be slightly further out, and you do want to move around, and you want to make your curiosity about what's going on. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. I wonder what they're doing. Oh, now that's an interesting thing. Look at that. But I'm not saying I want you to look at that. I'm saying, well, look at that. That's something. And it's an automatic phrase. Well, isn't that something? Yeah. So I'm actually drawing you out by sounding curious and excited myself, but not about you. It's not about you. But then when you sort of start to look, that's when I do something with you.
Very nice. Very nice. So we recently actually in conversation, somebody had, so would this would work for all types of dementia, like vascular, for example?
So vascular is an interesting thing. And I would say you could certainly try all these things with vascular, but you better be ready for not this time. And then the next time it's like, oh, it works so well. So if I do it exactly like that again, and it's like, yeah. So we better wait and talk about vascular because it's a little more complicated, frankly.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that sounds like a next episode to me.
Might be a good idea. I mean, it's just a thought.
All right.
So, Tipa, doesn't it help sometime for a motivator to have some music playing, something a little more lively that,
Yeah. So I was using myself in all these, actually, Joanne. And what you're suggesting is, well, what could be in the environment that might engage somebody? So if I weren't using me, what could I use? Could I use what people might like to hear and might get them going, like a rhythm, like music? Could I use something that might draw them visually, like something I know they like to look at and have it so it's visible? Could it be something that I know they like to handle or touch or hold? Could it be something I know they like to taste or it might maybe smell, sort of be as a way. So in other words, I might want to stimulate senses rather than stimulate just hearing. And so that's certainly a whole nother way of doing it. That would be your other hand, not the first 5 fingers. That'd be a whole nother set of hand.
And the thing we have too.
Good thing.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tifa. I really appreciate it. I think these are some great, positive action starters folks can try out. And I think it's one of those too with practice. As you could tell, I get, the, and I think I did it again, drawing my breath in. So you'll see.
That's a great one for you. I think you got that one. What was the other one you were working on?
Well, there is the actual Indrawn Breath level.
Oh,
look at that.
Ooh.
Something to practice.
You have to vocalize a little more, Val. That's the thing. Vocalize.
All right, vocalize. I'll be rehearsing.
As I usually do. Well, hey.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies. Very much appreciated, Tifa and Joanne. And I think that wraps it up for today. And I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Good luck in trying to engage someone with your vocalizations.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.